Have you ever wondered how Howard Schultz turned failure into success and built Starbucks into a global empire? Hello, everyone. Today, we'll dive into an inspiring story about a man who once faced financial hardship, but through relentless perseverance, turned adversity into a stepping stone to create a brand known by all, Starbucks. His name is Howard Schultz. But before he became the symbol of the global coffee industry, Howard went through tough times that no one could have imagined. This is not just a story about money or fame, but about how a person can rise from significant challenges, fueled only by faith and a strong will. Howard Schultz was born on July 19, 1953, in Brooklyn, New York, to a working-class family. His father worked as a truck driver, and his mother was a homemaker, taking care of Howard and his two siblings in a cramped public housing apartment. Their life was not easy. Howard grew up in poverty, witnessing his parents working hard but still struggling to make ends meet. When he was 7 years old, a major incident happened. His father had a work accident, broke his leg, and lost his job. The family had no insurance or savings to rely on. Howard once recalled, "I remember the feeling of helplessness as I watched my father lying in bed, unable to do anything to help my mother pay the rent. At that moment, I told myself I had to find a way out of this life." Despite the difficult circumstances, Howard never gave up on his dreams. He worked hard in school and excelled in football, earning a scholarship to Northern Michigan University. After graduation, he worked at Xerox as a salesman, then moved to Hammerplast, a Swedish company that specialized in household products. Life began to stabilize, but Howard still felt it wasn't enough. He longed to create something bigger, something that could change how people experienced everyday life. In 1981, the opportunity came when Howard discovered Starbucks, a small store in Seattle that only sold roasted coffee beans, with 4 modest branches. Back then, Starbucks didn't serve brewed coffee like it does today, but Howard was drawn to the quality of the coffee beans and the idea of bringing Italian coffee culture to the United States. He applied to be the marketing director, even accepting a lower salary to pursue his passion. However, his dream was not immediately welcomed. Howard suggested expanding Starbucks into a chain of stores serving brewed coffee, inspired by the espresso bars he saw in Milan, Italy. He believed that Americans would love a cozy place where they could enjoy high-quality coffee. But the Starbucks owners disagreed. They thought this idea was too risky and would lose the original focus of the company, selling only coffee beans. Howard persistently presented his detailed plan, but the more he tried, the more he was rejected. Finally, in 1985, at the age of 32, he decided to leave Starbucks. He left with nothing. No job, no extra money, just a dream that no one believed in. Not giving up, Howard opened his own coffee chain called Il Giornale, based on the idea that Starbucks had rejected. But starting a business was not easy. He needed funding to turn his dream into reality. Howard knocked on the doors of over 200 investors, passionately presenting his plan for an Italian-style coffee chain. The results were harsh. He was rejected 242 times. Some people laughed at him, saying that Americans would never pay $3 for a cup of coffee. Others advised him to give up and return to a stable desk job. Howard once shared, "Every time I was rejected, it felt like a knife was stabbing me. But I told myself that as long as one person said yes, everything would change." Finally, after months of persistence, Howard convinced a few small investors and raised enough money to open the first Il Giornale store in 1986. But the difficulties didn't stop there. The store didn't operate as smoothly as he hoped. There were few customers, high operating costs, and Howard quickly fell into debt. He had to borrow money from friends to pay his employees. At the time, his wife Sherry was pregnant with their first child, and Howard worried about how to cover the medical bills. He once stood in front of the mirror and asked himself, "Did I make a mistake believing in this dream?" But even in his darkest days, Howard never stopped believing that he could make it. In 1987, an unexpected opportunity arose. The owners of Starbucks decided to sell the company. Howard seized the moment, convinced a group of new investors, borrowed more money, and bought Starbucks for $3.8 million, a huge amount for him at the time. From there, he began transforming Starbucks into the coffee chain we know today, one that not only sells coffee, but offers a unique experience. The early years were still full of challenges. Starbucks continued to lose money, shareholders doubted Howard's abilities, and he had to work 18 hours a day to keep the company afloat. But he didn't give up. He believed that if he persevered, everything would change. That faith paid off. By 1992, Starbucks was finally profitable. From just 4 small stores, the company expanded into thousands of locations worldwide, becoming a cultural icon beloved by millions. Howard Schultz not only saved his dream, but also became a billionaire, proving that failure is not the end, but the beginning of something great. Howard Schultz's story is not just about coffee. It's about a man who was rejected over 200 times, who stood on the brink of bankruptcy, who doubted himself, but never stopped believing in his dream. He once said, "Success is not about avoiding failure, but about how you rise up after every fall." Today, when you hold a Starbucks cup in your hand, remember that behind it is a journey filled with sweat, tears, and the iron will of a person who overcame adversity to achieve success. What do you think of this story? If you've faced challenges and are looking for ways to overcome them, share your thoughts in the comments below. Don't forget to like and subscribe for more inspiring stories. See you in the next video.